like to transport you into a story. Come and join me by the campfire, and I will read to you a bit from the dark fantasy story titled Stephen King's Fairy Tale. This is Superior Reads. The house seemed to hulk on its hills, blotting out the stars. I remembered Norman Bates saying, "Mother, so much blood," and wished I'd never seen the damn movie. I rounded the corner, and as I started towards the back porch, there was a thump. It startled me, and I dropped my phone. As it fell, I saw a moving shadow. I didn't cry out, but I felt my balls crawl and pull up tight against my scrot. I froze as the shadow rippled towards me, and then, before I could turn and run, Radar was whining and nosing at the leg of my pants, trying to jump up on me. Because of her bad back and hips, all she could do was make a series of abortive lunges. The thump must have been the dog door swinging shut. I dropped to my knees and grabbed her, one hand stroking her head while the other scratched her rough under the collar. She licked my face and crammed against me so tight that she almost tipped me over. "It's okay," I said. "Were you scared to be alone? I bet you were. And when was the last time she had been alone, if Mr. Bowditch didn't have a car and all his groceries were delivered? Maybe not for a long time." "That's okay. All good. Come on." I picked up my phone, gave my balls a second to settle back into their proper place, then went to the back door with her walking so close behind me that her head kept bumping my knee. Once upon a time, Andy Shen had encountered a monster dog in the front yard of this place. Or so he said, but that was years ago. This was just a scared old lady who'd heard me coming and bolted out through her dog door to meet me. We went up the back porch steps. I unlocked the door and used the turn switch to light the hall of old reading matter. I checked the dog door and saw there were 3 small bolts, one on each side and another on top. I reminded myself to run them before I left, so Radar wouldn't go wandering. The backyard was probably fenced like the front one, but I didn't know that for sure, and for the time being, she was my responsibility. In the kitchen, I knelt in front of Radar and stroked the sides of her face. She looked at me attentively, ears pricked. "I can't stay, but I'm going to leave a light on, and I'll come back tomorrow morning and feed you, okay?" She whined, licked my hand, and then went to her dish. It was empty, but she gave it a few licks and then looked at me. The message was pretty clear. "No more until morning," I said. She lay down and put her muzzle on her paw, never taking her eyes off me. Well, I went to the canister marked cookies. Mr. Bowditch had said no meat and no snacks, and I decided it could have meant no meat snacks. Semantics are wonderful, aren't they? I vaguely remember hearing or reading somewhere that dogs are allergic to chocolate, so I took one of the pecan sandies and broke off a piece. I offered it. She sniffed and then took it delicately from my fingers. I sat down at the table where I'd done my studying, thinking I should just go. She was a dog, for Christ's sake, not a child. She might not like being alone, but it wasn't like she was going to get into the cabinet under the sink and drink bleach. My phone buzzed. It was Dad. "Everything okay there?" "Fine, but it's good I came. I left the dog door open. She came out when she heard me." No need to tell him that when I saw that moving shadow, I'd had a single flash of Janet Leigh in the shower, screaming and trying to avoid the knife. "Not your fault. You can't think of everything. Coming back?" Pretty soon, I looked at Radar looking at me. "Dad, maybe I showed a bad idea, Charlie. You got school tomorrow." "She's a grown-up dog. She'll be fine overnight. Sure, I know. Radar got up, a process that was a little painful to watch. When she got her hindquarters under her, she walked off into the dark of what was probably the living room. I'll just stay for a few minutes. She's a nice dog. Okay. I ended the call and heard a low squeaking sound. Radar came back with a toy in her mouth. I thought maybe it was a monkey, but it was so chewed it was hard to tell. I still had my phone in my hand, so I took a picture. She brought me the toy and dropped it by my chair. Her eyes told me what I was supposed to do. I gave it a soft lob across the room. Radar limped after it, picked it up, made it squeak a few times to show who it was who was boss, and brought it back. She plunked it down beside my chair. I could imagine her as a young dog, heavier and much more agile, going after that poor old monkey, or its predecessor, at a full tilt run, the way Andy said she'd run at him that day. Now her running days were over, but she was giving it her best shot. I could imagine her thinking, see how good I am at this. Stick around and I can do it all night. Only she couldn't, and I couldn't stay. Dad wanted me home, and I doubted if I'd sleep much anyway if I stayed here. Too many mysterious creaks and groans, too many rooms where anything might be lurking and creeping towards me once the lights were out. Radar brought the squeaky monkey back. No more, I said. Rest up, girl. I started for the back hall, then had an idea. I went to the darkened room where Radar had found our toy and groped around for a switch, hoping nothing, Norman Bates' wrinkled mummy of a mother for instance, would grab my hand. The switch made a clacking sound when I found it and flipped it. Like the kitchen, Mr. Bowditch's living room was old-timey but neat. There was a couch upholstered in dark brown fabric. It looked to me as if it hadn't had much use. Most of the sitting appeared to have been done in an easy chair plonked down in the middle of an old-fashioned rag rug. I could see the divot made by Mr. Bowditch's skinny shanks. A blue chambray shirt was tossed over the back. The chair faced a TV that looked prehistoric. There was an antenna thing on top of it. I took a picture of it with my phone. I didn't know if a TV that ancient could possibly work, but judging by the books stacked on either side of it, many marked with post-it notes, it probably didn't get much use even if it did work. In the far corner of the room was a wicker basket, piled high with dog toys, and that said all anyone would need to know about how much Mr. Bowditch loved his dog. Radar padded across the room and grabbed a stuffed rabbit. She brought it to me, looking hopeful. Can't, I said, but you can have this. It probably smells like your guy. I grabbed the shirt off the back of the chair and spread it on the kitchen floor beside her dish. She smelled it, then lay down on it. Atta girl, I said. See you in the morning. I started for the back door, thought again, and brought her the stuffed monkey. She gave it a shoe or two, maybe just to please me. I backed off a few steps and took another picture with my phone. Then I left, not forgetting to bolt to the dog door. If she messed inside, I would just have to clean it up. As I walked back home, I thought about gutters no doubt plugged with leaves, the unmoved lawn. The place badly needed a paint job, and that was beyond me, but I could do something about those dirty windows. Not to mention the sagging picket fence. If I had time, that was. And given the upcoming baseball season, I didn't. Plus there was Radar. That was love at first sight. For her, as well as for me, maybe. If the idea strikes you as weird or corny or both, all I can say is deal with it. As I said to my father, she was a nice dog. When I went for bed that night, I set my alarm for 5 a.m. Then I texted Mr. Neville, my English teacher, and told him I wouldn't be there period 1, and to tell Miss Friedlander that I might miss period 2 as well. I said I had to visit a guy in the hospital. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment of what you thought about my reading here. If you like Beery Reads and you would like me to read other stories, then you can comment about that too. I release my own stories on Patreon. I write dark fantasy stories that are inspired by spirituality, and you can visit my Patreon by clicking this link or checking out the link in the description. And I look forward to welcoming you into the Tales community. That's all for now. And a special thanks to all of my patrons. You're the reason I can do this, so I'm really grateful.